I feel like I'm really far away. Am I too far away? I'm just gonna roll with it. Today's video is gonna be how to make a weekly vlog. And for the benefit of having an easy title, I've said how to make a weekly vlog, but this is actually just how I make a weekly vlog. Obviously everyone's very different, and the most important thing I think about a vlog is putting your own personal spin on it and making it yours. So this is just how I do it, and I hope that you can just take a few tips and advice from this and make it into your own thing, because no one wants to see all the same vlogs on YouTube. And you may be wondering why I'm making a video like this, and I'm aware that it will definitely kind of ruin the magic of a vlog, showing you behind the scenes and how it's all done. But I really like to share these kind of YouTube tips. I feel like I like watching these kind of videos, and if I was just starting out, I'd find them really helpful. And I also like you guys knowing what happens kind of behind the scenes and what goes into making a video, especially the vlogs, because I feel like they seem much easier than they are. So I've broken it down into a few categories, and let's start with equipment. So the first thing you're going to need to make a weekly vlog is a vlogging camera. This is the one I use. This is the Canon S120. I've had this for a couple of years now, and there has been an update, the Canon G7X I think it's called, but I chose not to get that one. The difference between the upgrade is the quality in the camera and the fact that there's a flip screen that flips up so you can see yourself. I definitely was interested in the quality update. I want the best quality for my videos always, so I love that there's better quality. But because of the flip screen, the whole camera in general is bulkier, and I like to have something really small that I can put in my pocket if I need to, throw into my handbag, and I know that if it's bulky I won't carry it around with me, or I'll feel like it's a burden. I also don't really like the flip screen. For me, I've had no issue with this camera focusing, so I don't feel like I need to be able to see myself, and I also don't want to be looking at the screen instead of looking in the lens, because I feel like that's quite annoying when you watch a video. So I really like this camera. It's very small, it kind of does what it needs to do. I also have a spare battery which I bought on Amazon, because the battery does run out quite quickly, especially if you're vlogging all day, so I tend to carry that in my purse just in case. The camera comes with a charger, which is obviously very important. If I'm traveling, I always take that with me. And then other than that, all you need is a memory card. The one I have in here, which I would recommend, is from My Memory, and it's a 64GB. That is huge. You probably don't need that much, but I don't like my memory card to get full up, so I just get a huge one. And then you also need some kind of computer and editing software. I use my Apple computer, either my iMac desktop or my MacBook Air, and I use Final Cut Pro X, but I would definitely recommend starting with something like iMovie. Especially with vlogs, you just don't need anything fancy, because all it really is sticking your clips together. Final Cut Pro X is about £300 I think. For me, it was an investment. This is my job, and I purchased it years after starting, but I wouldn't recommend starting with it because it's just unnecessary. My vlogs are usually somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes long. That's not ideal for YouTube. They say that the perfect length video is like 3 or 4 minutes long if you want your video to do well on YouTube. There's all kinds of like algorithm things going on, but I just like to kind of do it as long as I have content for, if that makes sense. So they normally end up between 10 and 15 minutes. I usually vlog 2 or 3 days a week. It's kind of coming down to 2 because I'm more chatty in my vlogs now, so they'll just be 25 minutes long if I did 3 days. So it's normally just 2 days a week, which I think a lot of people don't realise. They feel like because it's a weekly vlog, they feel like that's what I did all week, but it's just 2 days, which is kind of crazy. And I do tend to pre-pick the days. I'll have a look at my diary the week before and see, oh look, I'm out on a Wednesday, I'll vlog that day, and then on the weekend me and Rich are going to a festival, so I'll vlog that day. That's about as much prep as I do. I don't plan things on purpose to vlog, but I do kind of look at the week ahead and try and plan which days I'm going to vlog, so I can charge my battery the night before and just be aware. I feel like I need to get into the mindset to remember to vlog all day on that day. Now, as I said, I don't plan things on purpose to vlog, but I do try and map out my day and imagine what it would be like in a vlog. So if I know I've got 3 meetings and a dinner, I know I'm not going to be able to vlog during those meetings, so I make sure that I've got footage of me going to the meetings and coming out, and then I know I'll vlog at dinner. If that makes sense, I kind of try and map it out in my head. But I feel like the most important thing in a vlog is to not miss out huge chunks. If I wake up and say, good morning, I'm just getting ready, I'm going to a meeting, and then suddenly I'm at dinner. Although I know it's really hard to vlog and that can happen easily, I like to try and fill in all the missing gaps because I feel like the video flows better. So for me, it's important to kind of create transitions throughout the day and explain to the camera what you're doing and where you're going, just so the puzzle fits together. It's just a case of I'm now going here, or talking about what you've just done and how it went. Those little kind of talking bits in between are what links all your clips together. I also try to go by the rule of I film what I want to use. I don't kind of film that much extra footage, because then when it comes to editing, it's much easier to just kind of clip everything together. So I try and just film what I want, and sometimes throughout the day I'll look through on my camera, and if I don't like a clip, I'll delete it so that I don't have to do that when I'm editing. That's usually because there's a smaller time for editing my vlogs, especially if I vlog on a weekend. I'll finish vlogging on a Sunday night and then my vlog goes up on Tuesday, so I just have that Monday to edit. So I try and make the process as easy as possible and make sure I've only got the footage that I need and want. This seems like a silly thing, but how I hold my camera, I feel like it can make quite a difference. It of course depends what camera you have. I don't hold my camera like you would a normal camera, like this. One, because the microphone is at the top, so you don't want to cover that with your finger. But also, if you hold it like that, it can get quite awkward when you're kind of moving around. So I hold my camera on either side, and that gives so much movement. It means that I can switch to myself, switch to someone else, move it around. I'm not blocking the microphone. It's a much kind of smoother process. It's the little things. And then let's talk about filler clips. And I call them filler clips because they're the clips that kind of come in between the talking, fill some space, create a mood, kind of explain where you are, create an atmosphere. If you want to speed up your clips, then I would recommend, the best way to do that is to have a tripod and a camera, but no one's got time for that in a vlog. So just try and keep your camera as still as possible. The best ones are when they're kind of leaning on a wall or on the floor. But I have done them handheld before. This camera is really good at like stabilizing, so just hold it really straight. Film for a longer time than you would expect, because then when you speed it up, it will be a shorter clip. I really like those for kind of traveling when you're in a car or train station, just showing those kind of sped up clips. Sped up clips, I think that makes sense. So I bought this thing from Amazon for like £10. You can put it that way and clip your phone in it for your sat nav, or you can put it that way and clip your camera in it. So then if I just slot it in, I can drive and vlog at the same time safely. Now, filming in public, that's something I got a lot of questions about on Twitter. Yes, it is majorly awkward. You can kind of dodge it by only vlogging when you're in the quieter back streets, side streets. But sometimes I find I just need to vlog and I haven't got time to try and find a quiet spot, and I'm in the middle of Oxford Street. And you know what? My theory is, who cares really? Yes, those people might look at you and think, that's weird, or they might go home that evening and say, how weird is this? I saw this girl walking down the street with a camera and she was talking to herself. But I feel like if they really knew what you were doing and they knew that you were filming a vlog for your YouTube channel, then they'd probably think it was quite cool. And I think, you know, go you if you want to vlog. What we're doing is pretty cool on this YouTube thing, and I feel like you just have to kind of suck up the embarrassment because it's worth it. I have more commitment to you guys as viewers than I do to a stranger walking down the street. So I know it's not worth me having a huge chunk of my vlog missing or making a bad video just because that person thought I was weird. So that's what I try and think. Sometimes I'm just far too embarrassed and then I'll just try and do it later. But most of the time I just try and think, look, for 10 seconds of embarrassment, it's worth it. I find when I'm actually talking to the camera and filming, that's not the embarrassing part. It's when I stop filming, put my camera down, and then suddenly I just feel like everyone's looking at me and I just want to go into a shell. But at that point I normally kind of leave the area and go somewhere else. I'm currently sitting alone in Leon vlogging, so this is an example of when it would be really embarrassing. But the good thing about this camera is the microphone's really good, so I'm actually talking quite quietly right now, and I think you guys can probably hear me really clearly, so just an example. And only one person looked at me weird then. If you are filming other people in a vlog, like your friends or family, I would definitely recommend asking their permission first. And you don't want to kind of bring the mood down just before filming. But I normally say, like, does anyone mind being in my vlog? I don't mind if you say no, just let me know. And sometimes someone will say, yeah, I'm a policeman, I don't think I should be in the vlog. And I'll say, okay, fine. And I'll just make sure that person's not in the vlog. I just think being really open and upfront about it is the best thing. If you're vlogging in shops, some places can be a bit funny about it. I feel like you can kind of get a sense. If you walk into a big shop, then you can kind of try and film a bit if you want. And if someone comes over, they'll just say, excuse me, please don't film in here. And then you just stop, it's fine. If I go into a really small, quiet shop and it's more of like a boutique, I'll always ask, say, excuse me, do you mind if I film a bit? Sometimes they'll say no, and that's fine. Sometimes they'll say, yes, fine. Just ask. that's all you can do really. Using music for weekly vlogs is really hard. I actually had a musician friend of mine. He kind of wrote 5 backing tracks for me to use. You've probably heard them over and over again, and I've already run out of music. YouTube does offer some free music in the back end if you're a content creator, but it's not great stuff. It's the music thing is hard. That's a whole nother video. I just think it's really important to be yourself when vlogging. There's no point trying to be happier than you are or trying to kind of put on a front. I think the whole point of vlogs is to let people in a little bit and show your true personality. When I started vlogging, everything changed because I feel like you guys got to know me so much better than my videos where I'm just sitting like this and you can't even see my legs. So just really be yourself. I think that's the kind of best advice I can give. But the final thing I am going to say is switch off when you need to. Even if you're doing weekly vlogs, if you're sitting at dinner with your friends, I feel like you can just get a sense of when it's time to not put the camera on. Give yourself some time to just chill out and not be in the camera, because it can get a bit much. I feel like weekly vlogging can make you feel like you're just always in front of the camera, but I think it's important to have some no camera days as well. So I think those are all of my tips for now. It's hard to imagine myself in your position and think of the questions you would want, but I did ask on Twitter and I think I've answered most of them. But if you have any other questions about creating a weekly vlog, leave them below and I will try to answer as many as I can. They are some of my favourite videos to film. You really are putting your personal life out there, but then again it is just 10 or 15 minutes of a whole week, so it's such a small chunk of your life. It's an interesting thing. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!